Hey there, Combs kids, and I'm talking about Ray Jr., Kelly, Whitney, Chelsea, Kirby, Cody, and I know there was the two bonus kids, Jared and Caleb, but as they weren't spawned by Ray, it's not important to address them in this particular video. Anyway, I never got a chance to meet your father, but I feel as comedians, we have a common bond. We have a certain kind of language, and that's just not booty to shooty talking, all right? I have been lucky enough to work with a ton of comics that knew your dad very well, and they all had something wonderful to say about him. So sit back, enjoy. Hopefully you get a little insight on what an awesome guy your dad was. I know you already knew that, but it's nice to hear it again. All right, Merry Christmas.
Let me tell you a little bit about Ray Combs, who's a comedian, but he's a little bit different kind of a comedian because he does, for many of the situation comedies that film around the country, especially here in Hollywood, what is called a studio warm-up. Audience comes in to see the show. They may set a scene, they have to break. His job is to keep that audience up so they're in the mood for the next scene. And it's a tough job for a comedian, and he's the best at it.
You sheltered me from harm, kept me warm, kept me warm.
This is the greatest week of my life. I'm a comedian. I'm on The Tonight Show. Everything is happening. I got to tell you something very, very personal thing just happened in my life last Wednesday. My 2-year-old daughter became potty trained. Thank you. It was a big day. We had mixed emotions about it. It was the first time she went all by herself. Didn't say anything to anybody. Saw the big potty, got up there, took all of her clothes off, did a really nice job. We just wish it wasn't in the display area at Sears.
You know, I met Ray, we started out together actually, and one of the first things we ever did was the 1984 LA Comedy Competition. I came in 5th or 6th, but they only needed 5 and Ray was the guy. So he got in and I did it. And then he started working for me in San Luis Obispo, playing Bob Zaney's Comedy Outlet at William Randolph's, and always a great guy, always a professional. And then in 1988, I played his first club in Cincinnati called Caddy Combs. And the reason they called it that was because the name Caddy was somewhere on the building and then he threw on Combs. And I think that was probably a year of a focus group.
Ray Combs, great guy, great club owner, tremendous facilitator in Cincinnati. Hamilton, Ohio, that's where he was from. And he loved to walk the streets and shake hands and just let people know that he was on the Johnny Carson show. That was his big claim to fame. And he just ran it seriously, constantly. And he had the big pictures hanging up in the green room of him on Carson. And just a great personality, loved in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, and always was proud to be from Hamilton, Kentucky. That's where he's from, right across the road there. So it was always great. And I worked the club 1,000 times, not 1,000, but a few times. And it was fun to hang out with the great Ray Combs, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta tell you something. Your dad, Ray Combs, was one special guy. From hosting Family Feud to being a stand-up comic. Anybody that makes the world laugh is a special person. So, hey kids, I just wanted to say hi to you and wish you well.
The Mountie. A man who doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. But then again, they said there's a lot of words he does not know the meaning of. It's only in the survey. Joining him is Repo Man. The 100 people in this Hoosier Dome said that no one can call him two-faced because if he was, he would darn sure be wearing the other one right now.
You know, a lot of your children can be ornaments for cars or boats if you have a boat. We use Whitney as the front of a ship whenever we go sailing. This is the front of a ship. There you go.
It's Mark Skippy here. I'm just getting ready to go on. I got my big gig here at one of the big improvs. All right. It's a bar. But Ray Combs, he had one of the biggest comedy clubs in Ohio, and I remember it well. He was so nice to me in Hollywood and Ohio. He made Ohio feel like it was my hometown, and he always made me feel at home. He had a cologne he wore. I remember that. I remember his laugh. He laughed a lot, and his voice, which was warm and wonderful, and America fell in love with his voice when he was the host of that show. But comedians know that he supported comedy and he supported comedians. He was a good man.
I got a chance to work with your father a few times in Vegas, and I think once or twice even at his club in Cincinnati. I think he had 2 there, if I'm not mistaken. But your father was a good guy. He was a kind soul, and he was funny. And we're trying to find a picture. There's a picture of me and him that we took at the MGM Grand in Vegas, and he looked really happy. And from what I remember, Ray, he was just a good guy and a good soul. And I hope you guys are well, and I hope I get to meet you one day. Thanks.
Didn't he owe you money?
20 grand, hello.
So I'm on stage, and then I get off, and Ray goes up because he was hosting, and said, "I'm gonna challenge this man to lose 100 pounds, and I will pay him for it." And I think there was actually a dollar amount, and I might have the tape somewhere. I don't know. So I end up losing 175 pounds, and I hadn't seen Ray for a couple of years since then. And then we were at the Ice House in Pasadena, and Ray was there with Bad Dog. That was the guy, his cousin Bad Dog, who helped run the next club he had. They think it to the ground. And anyway, so he challenged me that. But I got to mention, Fred Greenlease came up and said, "Wow, that was kind of rude what he did up there." I said, "I don't care. Fred, it's comedy. I'm going to make the money." So I run into Ray, and obviously I had lost a lot of weight, and he was shocked, and I was shocked, and I said, "Hey, remember you said you were going to pay me for that?" He said, "Oh, yeah, that's right. And him and Bad Dog just walked away. I thought that was the end of it, you know. And then he comes walking around the corner, and he hands me this check, and I look at it, it's $2,500. So, being the charitable man that I am, I immediately said thank you and kept it.
Did it clear?
It did clear, and this was probably 1990, 91, so it's long gone. If the family wants it, I can't. There's no way I can get it back to you, okay? But great guy, and he even took me on the end of an episode of Family Feud. I visited him on the set. He had me come on with the rest of the families at the end and said, "Bob Zany just lost 175 pounds. And it was like, wow. Boy, if he could see me now. But maybe, Ray, now maybe this is the inspiration I'm looking for. When we do this next tribute video, maybe I'll lose that weight again and come back and ask your family for more money."
This is my impersonation of Oral Roberts trying to heal a man. I'm telling you, you can walk. I'm telling you, you can walk.
I knew Ray many years ago. Ray was looking to expand his stand-up act in the 80s, and he came to Rubin and Core. That was my partner's name was Doug Core. I'm Scott Rubin. I'm a comedy writer, and I had the pleasure of working with Ray a few times. He came to the office. He was so upbeat and positive, and one of the truly great people to work with. He was a wonderful person to kind of jam out a piece of comedy. He was very giving. He paid well, and he paid on time.
I was very blessed to meet Ray. He was doing the audience warm-up on a TV show that I was a production assistant on. Down to Earth, Rocky Road, and some other one I forgot on WTBS way back when I was just starting comedy. I was working at Comedy Magic Club, and Ray used to come down and do guest sets down there. And Ray was the audience warm-up for these shows, and lo and behold, he got a shot to do the Tonight Show. And your father was such a kind man that he said, "Why don't you let Don be the audience warm-up guy?" Which quadrupled my money from being a production assistant, getting bagels and donuts for everybody. And so Ray gave me basically the job he did doing the audience warm-ups.
I came to LA in 1991, and I started doing warm-up, I think in 92 or 93. And my manager had set me up to see a bunch of people do warm-up. And I saw your dad twice. Can't remember what shows. Probably some ABC show. But I'd never been to a live taping of a show. And he was the first one that I saw. And he was hysterical. And I never knew that he had been a stand-up comic. So at first I'm like, dude, that's the guy. And then I was like, this man is really funny. So I will say that the first couple times I did warm up, I pattered my way around Ray, trying to figure out my way. But yeah, you watch the show, you watch the TV show, and you think he's that guy, and then you see him do warm up, and he was really funny. That's what I'll always remember.
And then from there, Ray went on, got the Tonight Show, and his career blew up overnight. And he always remembered me. And then when he ended up opening up Catacombs, I had been out on the road now and headlining. He remembered me and gave me a shot, sight unseen. He goes, "Yeah, I'll book you to headline." And so it was just sort of this long crisscross of paths. And your father was a very nice man, and he threw me a bone when he didn't have to. And in this business of entertainment, where people are usually wearing Teflon on their back so they don't get stabbed, your dad was one of the guys, we call it wearing the white hats. You know, the cowboys in the film that wore the white hats, those were the good guys. Your dad was a white hat.
He was about one of the most quality people I think I ever had the good fortune to work with in my 35 years in the business. So Ray deserves to be honored, and I could say I'm grateful to have the chance to work with him and jam out comedy and help him expand his career at that time.
I was the host of Family Feud after Ray, and I knew Ray. I've met him a few times, and we almost worked together a few times, but we talked often. And he was a delightful, lovely person, very funny, and I just think he was a great host on The Feud, and he was just a kind human being. So I just wanted to say I always liked him. I have this chance to say to his kids, he was a great guy, and I'm sure you miss him a lot, but he was a terrific person.
I'll try it, but I found out that you can pick up anybody under their arm and sustain their weight just like this, so it's okay. So when you see somebody else's kid, you see their mother coming, pick them up like that, then turn around this way and go, "Whose kid is this? I want to know! Whose kid is this?" There's a little song that my baby knows called Baby Rap. And also kids at this age are great to use as say you go into a supermarket or something and the kid's wet, you go, "All right, pal, I'm coming to the front of this line, this is a weapon."
Set me free, set me free. The finest years I ever knew were all the years I had with you. And I would give anything I own, give up my life, my heart, my home. Just to have you back again.
My entire life, I always had a dream that someday I'd be able to walk out on this show and make people laugh, and tonight you made that dream come true. Thank you and good night. That's the guy who knows how to do it. Wait,